The most famous equation in science is misunderstood by almost everyone. People think E equals mc squared means you can turn a little bit of matter into a lot of energy, which is why nuclear bombs are so powerful. That part is true. But it is not what the equation says. The equation says something far more radical: energy and mass are not two different things. They are the same thing, measured in different units. Mass is frozen energy. Energy is liberated mass. There is no distinction at a fundamental level. To understand why, consider what gives a proton its mass. A proton is made of 3 quarks. But here is the puzzle: the quarks themselves have almost no mass. If you add up the masses of the 3 quarks inside a proton, you get only about 2% of the proton's actual mass. Where does the other 98% come from? It comes from the energy of the gluons binding the quarks together, and from the kinetic energy of the quarks bouncing around inside. That energy has mass, not metaphorically, but literally. You are almost entirely made of kinetic and potential energy masquerading as mass. The c squared in the equation is what makes the numbers dramatic. The speed of light is 300 million meters per second. Squared, that is 90 quadrillion. So 1 kilogram of mass corresponds to 90 quadrillion joules of energy, about the same as a 21 megaton nuclear bomb. This is why even partial conversion of mass to energy releases staggering amounts of power. In a fission bomb, only about 0.1% of the fuel's mass is converted. In the sun, hydrogen fuses to helium, converting about 0.7%. The numbers are small in percentage terms but vast in absolute energy. You might ask, why the speed of light? Why not some other conversion factor? The answer connects to the deeper structure of spacetime. In Einstein's relativity, space and time are not separate stages on which physics plays out. They are woven together. An object at rest in space is still moving through time at the speed of light. An object moving through space is, in some sense, redirecting some of that motion from time into space. The total speed through spacetime is always c. Mass is the energy of an object at rest in space, but still moving through time at c. That is where c squared comes from. The equation has not yet reached its practical ceiling. Every current power source, oil, coal, fission, fusion, converts only a fraction of a percent of available mass to energy. A hypothetical matter-antimatter reactor would convert 100%. 1 gram of matter plus 1 gram of antimatter would release the equivalent of about 85 kilotons of TNT. We have no antimatter reactor, and antimatter is extraordinarily expensive to produce. But the equation puts a ceiling on what is physically possible, and we are nowhere near that ceiling. Einstein derived the equation not from experiment but from the internal consistency of special relativity. He was 26. He had no laboratory. He asked what had to be true if the speed of light was constant, and followed the algebra wherever it led. It led here, that everything you have ever touched, including yourself, is energy that has taken a brief detour through the form of mass. The universe is not made of stuff. It is made of events and fields and interactions. The stuff is an emergent property of those interactions, and the equation is the exchange rate.